What is going on, guys? Welcome to the first vlog, and today we got something super exciting going on. Right now in my garage, the McLaren isn't there. Something else is though, and this car is more rare than a Bugatti Chiron in the United States. There are only actually 3 of them right now in the US. It is stick, and it is a motorsport legend. If you haven't guessed what it is yet, I'm gonna give you a second before we pop out and see it. But join me today as we go through a little bit of the car, take it for a spin, and then take it to Cars and Coffee tomorrow morning. So hang around, subscribe if you haven't already. I'm gonna be doing these more regularly the more popular these become. So let me know that you like it so that I keep doing stuff just like this. Alrighty guys, so here it is. This is, like I said, one of 3 in the country right now. This Mercedes E190 2.5-1.6 Evo II is a race car for the road. I would just really quickly like to give a shout out to Alan Faulkner. Thank you for loaning us the car. This is the car that was homologated for motorsport. This is an Evolution 2, and it's stick. Now, there is one really interesting thing. This is, yes, a Mercedes, but it has 3 pedals. This has a 5-speed dogleg manual, which means that first gear, instead of being up and to the left, like where your reverse gear would be, it is down and to the right. Now, it took me a while to figure this out because Alan was helping a client when we grabbed the E190 and the Heritage Edition 4 GT. You have to pull up on the neck of the shift lever, and you have to push the whole way up and to the left. Definitely different. I was expecting perhaps something more Subaru-esque or BMW-esque, where it's just more force than anything, but that is definitely really cool. Now, in terms of other really unique things for a car of the 90s, this actually has 4-corner lift. Yes, that's right. This has a lift system to raise or lower the car. Just like the GLEs that I've had, anything that is on typical Mercedes air suspension these days, or what with Porsche or other supercars that have a front lift in particular. This is much more similar to actually the Porsche 959 because it is on all 4 corners. Now, if you knew me from high school, you might remember that I had a silver Mercedes ML320, a first generation Mercedes SUV, and it had a very similar interior like this does, so it makes me feel a little nostalgic and definitely right at home. And you will see here is definitely very analog. This is actually in kilometers per hour because of the fact that these were never imported to the United States. These were a Europe and rest of world car, and this one was homologated to be used on US streets. That being said, you have the same window switches that were like in my car, with the exception that the mirror adjustments were actually on the door in my ML320. We didn't have these gauges in the center stack here, and we had a newer infotainment. It was the first Mercedes to have a screen inside other than an S-Class. You have all of your climate controls, functional air vents, and surprisingly, this is actually a very roomy car. I'm about 5'10", 5'11", and I have plenty of space, and then still plenty of space in the back seat. Remember, the Mercedes E-Class is their mid-size sedan, so using it for a race car is kind of nuts. You can see the crazy big rear wing, which definitely makes this car stand out a good bit. But this has your traditional Mercedes finish and touch. The leather is great quality leather. Feels robust. It feels like the older Mercedes do that were I feel like they were made better than the current ones. I've had a lot of modern Mercedes, and I can honestly say that this older quality and build quality, to me, still feels better than new build quality of today. So that's just my opinion, but now we are going to do the most exciting part, get it on the road, take it for a little drive, and see how it goes. Also, as you could probably imagine, push to start wasn't quite a thing yet, so still a traditional key. And what is interesting about this is that you do have to push in the clutch to be able to turn the key. All of the manual transmission cars that I have had, you've not had to do this. It just had to be a neutral or clutch in. Let's see. Now for the fun part, let's see how it sounds. right now we are on the highway, and I want to give you a little bit of the thoughts that I've had so far with driving it around town and, you know, now in some more tame traffic. The clutch is super easy to use. It is super direct. Like it grabs exactly when you think it's going to grab, and it slips exactly when you think it's going to slip. It's just a really, really easy clutch to use. If you've ever used or driven a BMW M3 or M4 of like the F80, F82 generations, very similar to that, but the shifter feels way better. Don't really know how to describe how a car that's 25 years older feels that much more notchy and direct, but it makes the drive so much more fun because it's not a fast car. It's a 4-cylinder engine. It's made by Cosworth, which makes it really special. The same people that make the F1 engines. It's very spry for being underpowered, and it still somehow feels really, really torquey. Giving you guys a little bit of a first-person view, what that looks like. The car is very predictable to steer. It has a little bit of slop up top, and then the hydraulic steering kicks in. It gets really, really tight and direct. The car does exactly what you think it's going to do, which is a really nice feeling for a car that is literally 7 years older than I am. And the shifter is just so nice, so smooth. It's like butter, and it doesn't really have any issues going from gate to gate, which I would have assumed a car like this would, just for the age, never having driven a car this old, I don't think. A couple of things that you might not be able to tell from the video: this thing smells like the 90s. It reeks of white privilege, and I love it so much. It literally sounds, smells, feels like it's from the 90s, which you can't really translate in video. You have to, again, if you're ever fortunate enough to have the opportunity to drive one of these, you'll immediately know what I'm saying when you get to experience it yourself. But it's just so good. I would take this over my McLaren any single day of the week. I think it's just a much better experience overall to drive. It's way more fun. Obviously, it's a lot more engaging because of the manual transmission. It is a dogleg 5-speed, meaning that first is from down and to the right instead of up and to the left. Or sorry, down and to the left instead of up and to the left. It is just such a, it makes so much more logical sense for it to be in the bottom left of the H pattern. One other thing that really, really impressed me, and it creaks and rattles less than my 2020 McLaren 720 Spider. I don't know if that's a testament to Mercedes or to the detriment of McLaren, but this feels exactly like my first car, a Mercedes ML320. As soon as I got in this car, it felt just like home, and it takes a beating the same way that my ML did back in the day whenever I was just starting to drive. It's such a soft spot for me as far as like the design language and all the other stuff that makes us feel like an old Mercedes, but above all else, it feels really, really, really well put together. Now that I have a little bit of an opportunity to show what the driving experience in like stop and go traffic is like, it's really not that bad. Like I said, while we were on the highway, the clutch bites exactly where you think it's going to bite. It slips exactly the amount that you would think it would. It's a very, very predictable clutch, and it's not particularly heavy. Now, given this is a 5-speed dogleg manual, it is one of those manual transmissions that has taller gears because it has less gears in it. It's very easy to blip and downshift even into first gear. The clutch isn't very heavy at all. It bites exactly when you think it's going to bite. It slips exactly as much as you think it would slip, depending on the position of your foot, and it doesn't really need a lot of gas to, you know, want to move. It is definitely a little spongy in that regard. It doesn't bite immediately or like super aggressively, but it bites exactly what you need it to. It makes it really, really special. I can understand how this is as legendary of a car as it's you know, has the history of being. There is one really well, actually two very interesting things that I never get sick of seeing. First things first, the giant wing out back definitely makes it stand out. A lot of people that are just normal traffic or whatever might feel like, oh, that's just an old Mercedes with a body kit or whatever. Like, no, there's one of 500. This is one of 3 in the country, but the thing that gives me just the greatest sense of joy, honestly, is seeing that Mercedes logo out front. It is just so commanding of the presence. I can only imagine that driving a Rolls Royce with the Spirit of Ecstasy would very similarly feel like that. But just a really dominating car road presence wise. The steering, again, is hydraulic. It feels great and doesn't really leave you wondering where the car actually is. It gets progressively tighter the more you turn it because it is hydraulic steering. And the power band is very, very linear. It is a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. So, I wanted to give a driving impression on the last voyage with the E190. The shifter's super notchy. It feels like a purpose-built race car because it is a purpose-built race car. It is really smooth and it is a lot of fun to drive. You would never guess in normal traffic that this car is worth $500,000, but it definitely is special. If you ever have the opportunity to drive one of these, please take whoever's offering you up on the offer. It's a really, really special car, really special experience, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to have this experience again, so treasuring it while I can. I hope you guys enjoyed this first video. They're going to improve with time and as we increase a little bit of the production value, but hopefully you enjoyed this and kind of like you enjoyed this little take of the car, and see you on the next one.